Hello everyone, welcome to SAM IELTS YouTube channel. How are you all? I hope that you're all super fine and seriously preparing for the IELTS exam. And today is a different video. I'm going to deal with food. Well, in IELTS speaking exam, food is one of the important topic that you have to answer to the examiner. Food actually comes in speaking part 1, part 2 and part 3. So, I'm going to tell you how to answer these questions. Remember, these are all called as the model answer. Never try to memorize these answers. However, you can take a chunk of words or the vocabulary and note down in the vocabulary journal, and thereby you can start practicing on your own. Right. Without further delay, let's deep down into today's topic. First of all, you need to understand that in speaking part 1, there are few questions which is related to food. Let me give you an example. Well, here are the questions that can be asked in the speaking part 1. What is your favorite dish? Well, there are numerous dishes to choose from. However, my favorite rice is a lunchbox recipe, which is a carrot rice. So what did I say to the examiner? Here, if you clearly understand the vocabulary, I use the word which is called as numerous. Numerous means many. Lunchbox dish, which is a dish which can be stored in the lunchbox and given to the children. Clear? I wanted to tell something very simple and authentic. Okay, the traditional or the authentic dish will actually fetch you more marks. Clear? Don't try to be something, you don't try to get something fancy. That is not at all recommended. However, I prefer you to go on for a very simple dish that can be explained very easily. Because sometimes what happens is that the examiner, can you please narrate the recipe of your favorite dish? And thereby you cannot stand. Right, if you say something very fancy, or if you are saying horizon and you don't know how to make horizon, what is the point of making that? Clear? So whatever you are going to say, you need to be very clear and precise, knowing that the recipe should be known to you. Got it? Clear. Let's move on to the next question. Have you always had a preference for the same foods? Well, I reckon the preference for my food always changes from time to time. Every now and then I wanted to try a different cuisine, starting from the Chinese, Japanese, Mexican, Italian, continental. However, I stick on to the South Indian dish when it comes to the dinner. So what did I say here? See, I actually preferred a variety of dishes. So I try to implement all the words that I know. However, I'm just trying, thereby I'm touching the feeling of the South Indian. Clear? Alright, let's move on to the next question. Do you have any food preferences? What do you have any food preferences? So I have to say, generally, as I mentioned earlier, I love all types of foods. However, my food preferences are healthy. I don't like something junk food or the processed food, because though it actually saves time or it is tasty, it is actually health hazardant. So what did I say? It is health hazardant, which means it causes damages to the health of the body. So I don't prefer the fast food. Other than that, I prefer any type of food. This is my answer to this. Clear? Right. Now move on to the next question. Can you describe a typical meal in your country? Can you describe a typical meal in your country? So, see, it depends upon from country to country, region to region. So, whatever food is actually a typical meal in your country, you can actually explain that. So, I'm going to explain a traditional South Indian meal. Well, I live in South India, and in South India, there are certain meals which we prefer called as thali. We have veg thali as well as non-veg thali. This actually comes with a variety of dishes, such as the main basic ingredient in this platter is rice. So with the rice, they will have a cup of dal, cup of curd, cup of sweet, a cup of papad and a cup of curry, and all the vegetables, mixed vegetables, all these things comes in a plate. So we prefer to eat these foods with the help of the banana leaf. Whenever the function comes, we usually use these type of veg thalis or the non-veg thalis in the banana leaf, and we love to eat it. All the South Indians love this type of food. Other than this, we have also biryani, which is also one of the famous popular dishes in the South India. And I really enjoy the thali rather than biryani. So what did I say? I said a typical meal, right? The meal which is most common in the South India. Whatever is your favorite meal or whatever is the typical meal that you have in your country, you can mention that. That is not at all a problem, but you need to explain what are all the food that are presented in that plate, or what are all the foods that comes along with that platter. Clear? What is a platter? Platter means having a variety of foods. Clear? Right. Let's move on. Are you eating a healthy diet? Are you eating a healthy diet? Well, as I mentioned you earlier, I always prefer healthy diet rather than junk foods. Though it is convenient, I don't really enjoy the convenience of eating a fast food, because I love to cook food. How do you feel about the last food? To be honest, I felt so great about my last food, because the last food which I made was the carrot rice, which is a lunchbox recipe for my kid. Can you please explain about the recipe? The recipe for the carrot rice, it's quite simple. It just have only a few ingredients: shredded carrot, oil, mustard seeds, rice, cooked rice, and that's all. It's quite simple. So what you need to do is that you need to open the pan and just put some oil, put the mustard seeds, have there some onion in it, and then the carrot. Just cook it nicely till it actually turns something boiled. Then what you need to do is that you need to add on the rice. You just have to mix it well until it gets a fluffy texture. And last but not least, try to add the salt so that it actually tastes delicious. When you really want a scrumptious meal, it actually needs the salt. Clear? So this is all about the recipe of my favorite dish, carrot rice, which I cooked for my child in the morning. So what did you observe from this answer? And I'm telling to the examiner the recipe of the food. This actually doesn't consume much lines, just 4 or 5 lines of answer. However, the recipe which I am telling to the examiner using a language actually impresses the examiner. Got it? Clearly, yet powerful thing to the examiner. Clear? Right. Where do you usually eat? Where do you usually eat? By and large, I prefer to eat at home. On the other hand, sometimes I love to explore new restaurants with new cuisines. Do you believe is it necessary to learn to cook? Do you believe it is necessary to learn to cook? Generally, cooking is a good skill, and you can relax and eat a healthy food by yourself for yourself. So I want everybody to learn cooking because it actually helps them. Cooking is inevitable since we have hunger pangs 3 times a day at least. So we need to eat a lot of food, and it is an essential skill. This mandatory skill actually helps you to help yourself so that you are independent and not dependent on anyone. Got it? So I am not only saying the answer to the examiner, rather I am actually explaining the point to the examiner. Thereby they are actually helping you to understand your level of English. Clear? Right, okay. The next question I am going to say is that, have your eating habits changed in the recent years? If so, how? To be honest, I have to admit that my eating habits have been recently changed over a few years. Because when I was young, I preferred to eat burgers and pizzas and all the aerated drinks. Whatever is available in the market, I want to try it out. However, after COVID, I just got an awareness about the unhealthy habits of eating foods. So I prefer to eat only the home cooked food. And at that time we had a lockdown which I had never seen in my whole life. So I don't have even a house help. So I started learning cooking. I started to eat healthy. I started to consume a lot of greens and vegetables, and indeed I inculcate the healthy eating habits to my children also. Not only to my children but also to my family members. So this is how you need to explain this to the examiner, and if you really explain this to the examiner like this, then the examiner will actually give you band 8 plus. So I explained the topic of food with a range of vocabulary and with a recipe to you. I hope this video creates a huge impact in you by learning the food. Though I am an amateur cook, I try to incorporate the few ingredients or few recipes that I know, so that you can not only learn but also educate yourself through a recipe. Because education is something that when you see visually, it will be easily understandable. So I try to present it on my own. If you really like this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Also, please share this video to the IELTS aspirants so that they can learn a range of vocabulary, a range of sentence structures and a range of fillers, how to present your ideas to the examiner. In IELTS exam, there is no right or wrong answers. The way you present yourself, that is the matter. So I want you to learn more like this. Thank you for watching this video till the very end. If you really want to learn more about IELTS, visit www.samielts.in or our team WhatsApp number 90431 40844.